was on recently talking about this, and I said, and I felt a little bit chastened by the results of the election, but I felt like there was no good reason for anybody to believe that the black vote was beholden to Joe Biden based on the record. They keep talking about this relationship, and Clyburn talked about he knows us and we know him, and I'm like, what is he talking about? What are they talking about? I'm like, what special relationship does Black America have with Biden? When he
the crime bill,
he favored segregation and tried to use a Black nationalist explanation for it and saying they want their own world, but he was really trying to keep us out of theirs, which I'm fine with. But that, that's him talking with a split tongue. When he was, talking about busing the way Kamala Harris exposed in the debates in the earlier part of the primaries, that, when she was talking about being a little girl who was discriminated against in the busing, when he was supporting the racists in Boston, when, if you look famously at the little Irish guy with the American flag stabbing the brother in Boston in about 1974, 75, 76, more recently, when they were trying to integrate the buses, Biden spoke on behalf of the racists like Whitey Bulger and all of those racists in Boston, and then of course his more recent comments about Obama's cleanliness and being clean and articulate and other stupid things he said, like bragging that Delaware is a slave state. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Look it up. And then of course, black voters, young black voters, mobilized by the Black Lives Matter movement, literally punished Hillary Clinton. If you were a student in a class of mine, and I was teaching political science 101, there would be any book, you can get any book on government, American government intro, for example, and it will have a chapter in there called Voting and Elections, Campaigns and Elections. And there will be a section on it called Electoral Rewards and Electoral Punishments. Voters reward and punish politicians all the time after they make assessments. And black voters punished Hillary Clinton in 2016 after they set records in 2012 and in 2008. They went out of their way. And it was specifically because of the 1994 crime bill, which I don't think people understand. It was the worst bill from a draconian, punitive standpoint ever written into federal law. The first federal law ever written as federal law establishing felonies and the Federal Criminal Code was written in 1790. The Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Democratic centrist crime bill of 1994 was the most sweeping bill in American history in 150 years of federal law, giving sweeping powers to law enforcement, investigatory powers, charging powers, sentencing powers, that fundamentally put the war on drugs that began with marijuana in the, going back in the 40s and the 50s on steroids in the 1990s, after the war on drugs. And so Bill Clinton, I don't think people appreciate, and the Democrats, with these kinds of laws, were responsible for more black people, especially black men, being incarcerated in 8 years of Bill Clinton's administrations than under the previous 12 years of Reagan and Bush 1 combined. So Bill Clinton reinstated the death penalty. Bill Clinton oversaw the elimination of affirmative action. Black people should be very, very, very careful and very leery about Joe Biden and re-electing him or electing him as president this time, because he can do things adversely to their policy preferences that Donald Trump can never do. Reagan wanted to get rid of welfare. Welfare survived Ronald Reagan. No matter how much he talked about welfare queens, welfare was still there 10 years later for Bill Clinton to get rid of. Reagan hated it. Bill Clinton got rid of it. And what I'm saying is, whatever the Republicans are threatening black people with right now, be careful, because Biden will do it in order to get reelected, if he ever got elected, as a way of outmaneuvering the Republicans and out-republicing the Republicans, as Bill Clinton did with his idea of triangulation, when he ran above the fray against both parties, Democrat and Republican here at the lower base of the pyramid. The Republicans here, the Democrats here, Bill Clinton was here. And that was his strategy of triangulation. And then when he stole Tommy Thompson's welfare policy and bill that was implemented in Wisconsin, mainly to hurt black folk in Racine and in Milwaukee, Bill Clinton stole it from them and then used it. So my point is, if black people are all enthusiastic for Joe Biden because they're scared of Donald Trump is less dangerous to them than Joe Biden is, based on the record, and you ain't gonna hear this nowhere else in America, but based on the record. Let me restate the record if you think I'm crazy. It was not Ronald Reagan that got rid of welfare, but he famously berated it in federal policy and tried to carve away at it. He made it famous by creating a black woman that didn't even really exist and took a few different cases and made them into one person and called her a welfare queen, but there was no such one person as the welfare queen. Ronald Reagan harped on it, made it the heart of his conservative agenda. He hated it here in California, in LA, and in Oakland, in San Francisco. Ronald Reagan championed the abolition or the elimination of entitlements, which is what they consider welfare and AFDC to be. A Republican governor in Wisconsin implemented a program that was welfare to work, that would end welfare as we know it, welfare to work. And then Bill Clinton, in order to get reelected in 1996, stole that issue from the Republicans, triangulated it, and then used it against his own constituencies. He did it by bringing back the death penalty. Bill Clinton was the president who oversaw and was president while affirmative action was eliminated here in California in Prop 209 with 1996. I'm giving you facts. This ain't no fanaticism here. This ain't no extremism here just because it's passionate. The truth of the matter is that Bill Clinton did more harm to black people than Ronald Reagan did. And we hate Ronald Reagan, or despise Ronald Reagan, I guess I should say more accurately. So when I warn black people that the man that they are falling in love with, like they fell in love with the first black president stupidly, until a real black president showed up, which is why they're loving this white man right now called Biden. And the only reason why is that if he got back in as president, and he has not come up with a Douglas program, or he has not promised billions of dollars for the HBCUs like Warren, and he is not talking about major economic programs and development programs and personal development programs like Bloomberg did for his 1 minute in the sun trying to appeal to black folk. Biden just saying, hey, I know y'all know me. And this is insane to me that black folk are acting like there's some attachment to Biden based on him giving us a Marshall Plan or a GI Bill or reparations. Name the policy that Joe Biden is famous for that black people are rewarding him with their votes for. Name that policy. And it can't be the Affordable Health Care Act, because that was Mitt Romney's in Massachusetts that Obama stole, in the same way that Clinton stole welfare from the Republicans. Everybody's excited about the Affordable Health Care Act. That's a conservative health care policy that empowered the insurance companies to have, 80 million customers. Bernie's program is the radical one that they don't want, because that would eliminate the insurance industries. So let's not even act like Obama's health care was for black people. There is no such policy that black people can point to that explains their passion for Joe Biden or Barack Obama.